Today, we're diving into a story that's as powerful as it is understated. A story about the true architect behind one of rock and roll's most iconic figures. We're talking about the woman who raised Gene Simmons of Kiss.
It's incredible, isn't it? Most people know Gene Simmons as the fire-breathing, tongue-wagging demon on stage, the epitome of larger-than-life rock stardom. But very few know the quiet, unassuming woman who shaped him, Flora Klein.
And her story, honestly, is one of the most compelling I've ever encountered. Without Flora Klein, there's no Kiss, no rock and roll all night, no Gene Simmons as we know him. Because before the makeup and the millions of records, there was a Hungarian Jewish woman who refused to let the worst of humanity destroy her, or her son.
Exactly. Flora Klein was born in Hungary in 1925, just living her ordinary life in a small village. She had parents, siblings, dreams, a future that seemed in the 1930s as safe as any young girls could be in Europe, until 1944.
Here, everything changed. The Nazis arrived, and Flora, her entire family, they were rounded up, loaded onto trains, sent to concentration camps. It's unimaginable.
And the statistics are chilling. Most of them never came home. Parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, an entire family tree just burned to ash. Only Flora and one brother walked out alive, carrying memories too heavy for words and trauma too deep to ever fully heal.
Think about that for a second. Everything you knew, everyone you loved, gone. The world you understood, shattered beyond recognition. How do you even begin to process that, let alone move forward?
It's the ultimate test of the human spirit, isn't it? And Flora, she did what survivors do. She chose to live. She could have given up, let the darkness consume her, decided the world wasn't worth living in after what it had taken from her. But she didn't.
Instead, she rebuilt. From nothing, from less than nothing, from the ashes of everything she'd ever known. She found love, she found hope. And in 1949, in Haifa, Israel, she gave birth to a son, Chaim Vitt.
And that son, of course, would become the legendary Gene Simmons. But the story doesn't stop there. When Gene was just 9 years old, Flora made another life-changing decision. A testament to her absolute grit, honestly.
She packed up their belongings and moved them to New York City, alone. No husband, because she and Gene's father had separated. No English, no money, absolutely no safety net. Just a Holocaust survivor and her 9-year-old son, starting over in America.
It's a story of pure, unadulterated resilience. Flora worked grueling jobs in Queens. She sewed garments in sweatshops, the same kind of work she might have done in the camps, except now she was paid, now she was free, now she was doing it for her son's future. It's such a powerful contrast.
That's a profound thought, Jane. From forced labor to labor of love. She worked until her hands ached, took any job that would pay. She never remarried, poured every ounce of herself into raising her boy. They lived in a tiny apartment, had almost nothing. But as she probably thought, poverty in New York was hard, but it wasn't Auschwitz.
And this is where the silent lesson begins. Gene grew up watching his mother's quiet, relentless strength. She rarely talked about the camps, the horrors she'd witnessed, the family she'd lost, the things she'd endured. They stayed locked inside her. Too painful to revisit, too much to burden a child with.
She didn't tell 9-year-old Jean about watching her family disappear into gas chambers. She didn't describe the starvation, the brutality, the daily terror. Her silence wasn't denial. It was protection. It was survival, in its own way.
But her silence, it spoke volumes. Gene watched her survive. He watched her work until her hands were raw. He watched her refuse to complain, refuse to give up, refuse to be broken by a past that would have absolutely destroyed most people.
He learned that survival isn't just about enduring. It's about fighting, building, creating something from nothing. It's about never ever giving up. And he learned that from her actions, from her sheer existence.
Gene Simmons himself has famously said, Everything I am is because of my mother. Think about that. The man who became one of the most audacious, fearless, larger-than-life performers in rock history credits absolutely everything to this quiet Hungarian woman who sewed garments in Queens and never, ever sought the spotlight.
It's truly profound. Flora Klein taught him survival without saying a single word about the horrors she'd faced. It was in her every movement, her every sacrifice. And when Gene formed Kiss, when he created that outrageous demon persona, when he breathed fire and wore 7-inch platform boots, that was Flora's son.
The boy who watched his mother rebuild from ashes, who saw her refuse to be defeated. He learned that when the world tries to destroy you, you come back stronger, louder, impossible to ignore. That's the essence of Kiss, isn't it? That defiance.
Absolutely. Kiss became one of the biggest rock bands in history. They sold over 100 million records worldwide, built a merchandise empire, became absolute legends. And through it all, Flora Klein lived quietly in New York.
She never sought recognition, never gave interviews, never tried to claim credit for her son's success. She just lived, watched her son become a phenomenon. She knew that the little boy she'd raised in that tiny Queens apartment had conquered the world, just like she had conquered the Nazis who tried to erase her.
And the poverty that could have defeated her. Every time Gene Simmons walked on stage with that unstoppable confidence, every time he refused to quit, every time he built something from nothing, that was Flora. That was her spirit manifesting through him.
The survivor, the fighter, the mother who worked herself to exhaustion so her son could have a future. It's such a powerful legacy that's so deeply embedded in him. I think that's why his stage persona, for all its flash and spectacle, has always felt so authentic. It's rooted in something very, very real.
It truly is. Flora Klein passed away on December 14, 2018, at 93 years old. She outlived the Nazis who tried to exterminate her people. She outlived the camps that murdered her family. She outlived the poverty that could have broken her spirit.
And she lived long enough to see her son inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She lived long enough to see him become a cultural icon. She lived long enough to know that everything she survived, everything she endured, everything she built, it mattered profoundly.
Gene Simmons posted a heartfelt tribute that day, talking about his mother's strength, her sacrifice, her survival. But the real tribute, as we've discussed, isn't just in words. It's in everything he became. It's in the very DNA of Kiss.
Flora Klein's name isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but her legacy echoes every time a Kiss song plays. Every time someone refuses to let their past define their future. Every time a single mother works herself to exhaustion for her child.
Every time a survivor stands up and says, "You didn't break me, you made me stronger." From the absolute darkness of the Holocaust, from watching her family murdered, from surviving the unimaginable, Flora Klein raised something extraordinary.
Not just a rock star, but a testament to the unbreakable power of a mother's love and a survivor's will. It's living proof that the Nazis didn't win, that genocide doesn't get the last word, that from the worst humanity can do, something beautiful and powerful and unstoppable can still emerge.
Some heroes wear makeup and platform boots and breathe fire on stage. But the greatest hero Gene Simmons ever knew wore factory work gloves, spoke broken English, carried the weight of history in her silence, and taught her son that survival is the greatest act of defiance.
It's such a powerful way to look at it. Her defiance wasn't loud, it was quiet, persistent, and ultimately triumphant.
Rest in power, Flora Klein. You survived the unthinkable. You rebuilt from ashes. You raised the unforgettable. And you proved that love is stronger than hate, that hope is stronger than despair, and that one woman's refusal to be broken can echo through generations.
The world tried to erase Flora Klein in 1944. Instead, she raised a son who made sure millions of people would never forget his mother or what she represented. That's not just survival, that's victory. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey today.
It's a story everyone should hear, truly inspiring.
A testament to the indomitable human spirit. Until next time.